All right, let's go to Kelly in Nashville.
Almost 10 years ago, we found out that my mom had been having an affair with a man in the neighborhood. And obviously things were tense for a little bit, but my parents decided to stay together and work things out. Since that time, neither of them, from my point of view, have really made any significant changes or efforts towards a healthier marriage. So I guess flash forward, a couple of days before Christmas, I got a call from my sister saying that my dad had found more emails that my mom had sent to this man. And my sister felt the pressure kind of not to say anything to me, but really to my other sibling. But she couldn't really carry it all by herself, so she was obviously telling me. And since that time, she's admitted to my dad that she did tell me. And so she was kind of pulled in as a mediator at the moment. And and so then I was the support for the mediator in secret.
What a mess. Hey, so
Right.
so real quick. So did your mom kick back up this affair with this dude, or did your dad find stuff from 10 years ago?
No, it's back.
Okay. And the way you said it, the dude in the neighborhood. So the dude in the neighborhood still is in the neighborhood, and so he's back in action, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay. And how old's your little sister?
26.
Okay.
So we're all adults.
Except for your parents. But go ahead.
Well, right. And so my sister since admitted to my dad that she told me. Mm-hmm. So, my dad followed up with me and kind of got, I guess, my thoughts on the situation. I don't know if anyone has told my brother or not. I did also end up reaching out to my mom to let her know that I still love her and I still support her. But really my question today, I'm just trying to figure out what is my responsibility in this situation to my family as a whole, and then, what's my responsibility to my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, each as individuals.
That's a great question. And just for the record, I hate that you got drawn into this. I hate that your dad did that to your sister and triangulated her in that way. He should have some friends and some confidants or a counselor or a place where he can go and talk to grown-ups about these challenges. But and I hate that for your sister and your poor brother. How old is he?
He's 27.
Yeah, and leave it to the brother, just like, hey, everybody, what y'all doing, right? Has no idea, just bebopping along, right?
Exactly.
So here's my thought. Thought number one is secrets destroy families, period. And my guess is if there has been 10 years absence here and there's been no reconnection, and I would tell you, as much as you think you know and you can see, you probably know 25 to 35% of what actually goes on behind closed doors with your mom and dad. And so what I would challenge you with is staying out of the y'all didn't do any work, the judgment part of what went on behind closed doors, because that's going to make you nuts, and it's going to make your parents have to fight their kids. And don't do that to them. Unfortunately, you're forced to be the adult here. If I'm you, and I've got a sister and a brother, I would call them. We'd have a three-way talk, and we would talk it out and let everybody be on the same page, because I'm not going to hold secrets from my brother and sister because I'm an adult. And if my dad were to call me and burden me with that, I would let him know. I'm going to let my brother and sister know, because I'm not your therapist and I'm not bound by confidentiality. Now, I'm not going to go tell the neighborhood, right? But I am not going to hold secrets so that we're all together and we're all on different pages and different stories. I think what you did for your mom is to let her know that you love her is noble. I think that's good. She's going to need some support. I also think it's good for you to let your dad know that you love him. What I would do is send them both something in writing, your mom and your dad, at the same time, that says, we all know we're not going to get involved in your marriage. And you can feel free to say what's on your heart and your mind, but let them know we are not going to be triangulated into this mess. They are responsible for dealing with their marriage, and they're responsible for dealing with their relationship with each other and the dude in the neighborhood and whoever else and whatever else. But you can't solve that. You can't get in the middle of it. And all you're going to do is wage war with your brother and sister and your family. And at this point, you've got to be the grown-up in that deal. I know I'm telling you to do something hard, which is to not get right down in the middle of that mud, because that's tempting, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you angry with any one of them or both of them? Or heartbroken? What are you feeling?
My sister kept telling me she thought that I was kind of emotionally disconnected from the situation, because I think 10 years ago when it happened, I kind of came to terms, well, and maybe I didn't, maybe I just repressed it, but I felt like I'd kind of come to terms with maybe they'll stay together, maybe they won't, but I think the thing that kind of kept me going was knowing that regardless, God was still faithful in my life, regardless of what happened. So that was kind of my anchor. And you know, I was real close with both of them growing up. I think my dad and I, in the past year or so, have kind of butt heads sometimes a little. So there's part of me that's angry with him because I've seen some of the ways that he's hurt my mom. And like you said, you know, I've probably not seen all of it, and obviously it goes both ways. So that in some degrees has made me angry at him. With my mom, I've been angry, number one, because she's so good at being sneaky. And, you know, I never knew how sneaky she was. And so just seeing that and realizing that now. But
can I tell you something? You maybe didn't know how sneaky she was, but I promise the 16-year-old Kelly absorbed it. You knew it. And my guess is if you go back to 12-year-old Kelly and 11-year-old Kelly, were things just rosy and wonderful at the house? And they were.
I thought I had the perfect family growing up.
There you go. Okay. And so you absorbed that. And yeah, man, that's tough to unwind. And so when you were 19 and this came out, did it just blow your mind?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How'd you find out?
So the guy that she cheated with asked to meet my dad at a McDonald's in the area.
Whoa, dude, that's a brave guy.
Well, it was his wife that told my dad, and so I knew he was going, and when he came back, you know, obviously something was wrong. I had no idea it was.
So the dude in the neighborhoods, I feel like we're middle schoolers now. So the dude in the neighborhood called your dad. No, the dude in the neighborhood's wife calls your dad to meet at a diabetes factory, and they met there, and that's where they told him?
Yeah. From my recollection, that's how my dad.
Dude, that is so 10 years ago. Because right now we would just text. That's it. So good for them, I guess.
I think my dad probably suspected.
Sure.
He just didn't have the proof, and this other guy's wife brought the proof.
Okay.
But,
so fast forward to now. I can get distracted pretty easily with that story because that just sounds like there's layer after layer after layer to that one. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
You hear me say this all the time. You're gonna have to grieve that story. And you had a perfect family, and they weren't perfect. There is no perfect family. And your dad made some decisions. Your mom made some decisions. The neighbor, the dude in the neighborhood, his wife at the McDonald's, everybody made decisions here. And are you married now?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have some honest conversations with your husband. You're going to have some honest conversations with your brothers and sisters. And again, going back to my original thing, I would put in writing to my mom and dad, we all know, we love you. We are not getting in the middle of this mess. And if y'all don't act like adults and deal with this mess in a way that is whole for everybody, then y'all are opting out of Thanksgiving because we're all getting together. And y'all are opting out of Christmas get-togethers because we're all getting together. and we're going to mourn the loss of the family that we thought we had. But we're not going to get sucked into this thing. And so, Dad, you're not calling little sister to gossip about Mom. And Mom, you're not calling middle brother to talk about if your dad had only. We're not doing that. We're not playing that game. And the reason I tell you to write a letter is that way they can go back to it over and over and over again. And when people are having hard conversations with one another, especially family members, old roles pop up, old stories pop up, old defense mechanisms pop up, and we start hearing only what we want to hear. And there's something about having a letter that you can go back to and go back to and go back to, okay? And it will probably be a heavy thing for them to read, and they'll read it 2, 3, 4 times. And they may text you and say, who the crap do you think you are? And you can tell them I'm your oldest daughter and I love you guys. And you can just sit with that. But I'll tell you, you are going to have to, Kelly, go through your own grieving process here. And you may have. Everybody grieves differently. Your brother may break down on all, like just be comatose weeping. And you may say, that really sucks. I'm pissed at my mom, pissed at my dad. You morons, you blew up something great. And I hope you're all happy. And I'm moving on about my life because my marriage is good too. That may be awesome, may be good. Or you may find sneaky tendencies in yourself. And you may find that you slowly start to fill X or Y or Z, or you may find yourself starting to respond to problems between you and your husband or challenges that we all have, kind of like your dad, maybe a little loud, a little aggressive, a little angry. And when you have those seasons, you've got to commit now to making sure that you don't repeat that cycle with your husband. And then be open to your brother and sister, man. Make sure that they've got a place to call, which can be you, and make sure you love them. But that just sucks. I hate that for you. And again, I say this all the time. Parents out there, don't treat your kids like your therapist, man. That's not what they're for. Don't treat... It drives me crazy when people say, my son, he's 14. We're best friends. I'm best friends with my dad. I always think, what's so weird, dude? Have friends your own age. If I was to go out in the neighborhood and be like, hey, this is my best friend, he's 14, I'd go to jail because I'd probably go to jail, but that's just weird, right? Have friends your own age. And if you've been cheating on your spouse, don't make the first call to your 21-year-old daughter. Talk to a pastor, talk to a friend, talk to, I don't know, maybe your husband would be a good person to talk to a counselor, but talk to people who are equipped with this. Don't dump that type of nonsense onto your children, man. That's so much. If you have 6-year-old kids, don't talk about your marriage problems with your 6-year-old kids. Why? Because they're 6. And dragons are still maybe kind of real, and so is Santa. And they don't need to know about dad, or don't do that to your children, okay? Get people who are grown-ups that you can be vulnerable with. And what I find often is that it's hard for grown-ups to be vulnerable. You owe it to your kids to not dump this crap onto them.